Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Rajkumar Academy for Civil Services. Let us discuss today the Hindu newspaper of Delhi edition. The first article of the day, Same-sex union, Supreme Court to see if Special Marriage Act can be deemed gender neutral. The context of this particular article related to the same-sex marriage. The Supreme Court cut short the union government's value judgment that genitals decided whether a person was a man or a woman, saying there was no absolute concept of a man or an absolute concept of a woman, and that gender was far more complex than one genitals. This is what the exact context regarding the particular topic which is there in the newspaper today. So, what are all the issues in the plea which filed by the center, and what is their view, and what is the verdict by the Supreme Court? As we know, yesterday I told you about five-judge Supreme Court bench headed by Chief Justice of India, which is scheduled to hear a series of petitions seeking legal recognition of same-sex marriage. So we need to understand what are the arguments of the petitioners. See, same-sex couples do not enjoy the rights of married couples, even though the Supreme Court has repeatedly said that all adults have the right to marry a person of their choice. Second is about marriage is a social status in India because which is bestowed by law and through which society accepts, respects and validates a couple. By excluding same-sex couples from the realm of marriage, and about the equality extends to all spheres of life, such as the home, workplace, and public places, making the case for structural changes along with the attitudinal ones. And the major argument of the petitioners in the court, non recognition of same sex marriage, which violates the fundamental rights. Article 14, right to equality before law. Article 15, right against discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth. Article 19, freedom of speech and expression. Article 21, protection of life and personal liberty of the Constitution. So, as per the argument, these are all the fundamental, rights. So, because non-recognition of the same-sex marriage violating these fundamental rights. So now the center government come up with the argument in the Supreme Court. See, if the court allows the same-sex marriage, judicial creation of the social institution called marriage of a different kind than contemplated in the existing law. Only the legislature has the right to make such changes in the law because the legislature is the repository of democratic representation. Marriage is not confined to the private sphere because the regulation of marriage much an issue of acceptance by the society. So these are all the two type of arguments. So what is in the case of same-sex marriage in India? Several petitioners have asked the court to recognize the same-sex marriages under the Special Marriage Act of 1954. The Act, particularly the Section 4, provides for the conditions relating to solemnization of special marriage between any two persons. The court had referred the pleas to a constitution bench, saying the question of seminal importance, an interplay of constitutional rights, specific legislative enactments, and the right of transgender couples. So we need to understand one thing here, what kind of view that statutory can keep, because same-sex couples would make equally good parents as heterosexual parents. And argument related to the same-sex marriage violate the provisions of Juvenile Justice Act 2015, which prohibits a single man from adopting a girl child. Because you know about the male and female in the society are considered to be the greatest importance of the parenting. Why not the same-sex marriage can adopt the children? And these kind of arguments are happening. So, what exactly the ruled out by the Chief Justice of India? A man or a woman is not a definition of what their genitals. It is far complex even when the Special Marriage Act say man and woman, The very notion of a man and woman is not an absolute on what genitals you have. So just focus on this particular article because keep on circulating this article on a regular basis. These are all the major observation that you need to do related to this. The topic comes under your general studies 2 and general studies 1. Policy and its intervention and judgments in the GS2 and society under your GS1. Next important topic of the day, it's Bilkis today. It can be anybody tomorrow. Supreme Court. Supreme Court of India come up with a view that they are in contempt did not face the center and Gujarat, which brought the officials files concerning the remission granted to 11 life convicts in the Bilkis Bano gang rape case to the courtroom, only to joint claim privilege over the contents. So, what exactly you need to understand in this particular case? So, Bilkis Bano case, it is very important because it is related to the remission as well. Let us have a look what exactly the case is about. The 11 convicts in the Bilkis Bano case of 2002 riots walked out of jail as the Gujarat government has allowed their release under its remission policy. You need to know the remission policy available in our constitution. Article 72 Article 72 and Article 161 of the Indian Constitution. The President and governors have the power of pardoning and to suspend, remit, or commute a sentence passed by the courts. Article 72, Article 161. Since prisons is a state subject, the state governments have powers under Section 432 of the IPC, Indian Penal Code, to remit the sentence. So, who has the authority? The state, because it comes under the state list, prisons. Prisoners are often released on birth and death anniversaries of prominent leaders and other important occasions. So, what are the grounds that we can follow? State set up a sentence review board to exercise powers of under section 432 of the criminal procedure charge. The Supreme Court has held that states cannot exercise the power of remission and must follow due process. So, seriousness of crime, the status of co-accused, conducts in jail. These are the three important grounds for providing the remission. So now in this case, Gujarat had turned violent after the Sabarmati train was burnt in Godhra on 27th February 2002 when 59 car Sevaks were killed in the train. Fearing the outbreak of violence, a 5-month pregnant Bilkis Bano fled from her village with her 3.5-year-old daughter and 15 other family members. They were attacked by about 20 to 30 people, whereas Bilkis, her mother, and 3 other women were raped and brutally assaulted. So only Bilkis, a man and a 3-year-old, survived the attack. Her case was taken up by National Human Rights Commission and Supreme Court, which ordered on the investigation by the CBI. This is what exactly the background related to the case. Now, what exactly in this context, why this particular remission is criticized by many people? Even the court also asked under what circumstances that all these people got bail. So the state, Gujarat and center supposed to provide the proof for it. Exemption from disclosing information is very important in this particular case. So now, right now, why is the remission criticized here? Against treating the crime as a heinous crime, no premature release, and political considerations are there. So just go through this topic. This topic comes under your GS2 related to the verdict given by the courts. Next important topic related to the India Russia agreed to deepen trade and economic relations. General Studies 2. International Relations. India and Russia discussed the trade deficit during the India-Russia Intergovernmental Commission on Trade, Economic, Scientific, Technological and Cultural Cooperation. So this particular meeting between the two countries about how they can increase in terms of the bilateral trade activity as well as the increasing the deepen trade economic relations. So India and Russia used to have a big historical related to the relationship. For example, if you take historical background, the first ever tie between Russia and India declaration on the India-Russia strategic partnership in the year of 2000 related to the economy. But if we take in terms of friendship treaty signed by Indira Gandhi government for 20 years during 1971 war. So political relations and trade relations and defense and security relations are most highlighted between India and Russia. Particularly if you take the trade relations, the two countries intend to increase their bilateral investment to 50 billion US dollar and bilateral trade to 30 billion US dollar by 2025. So if you take a look of bilateral trade between the financial year of 2020, which is amounted 8.1 billion US dollar. So this trade relations, this particular deepened trade and economic relations may increase the trade relation between Russia and India. So just have a background related to what is the significance of Russia for India because we need to balance China and emerging the new sectors of economic engagement, combating the terrorism, and Russia's military exports to India is very important. Let us see the next important topic of the day. The next important topic where we can give attention towards the thermal stress poses threat to sustainable livestock farming. So many districts in Kerala experience a heat wave like condition with soaring mercury and elusive summer rain. Livestock farmers are struggling to protect their animals against thermal stress. Here, we need to understand what is this heat wave because even the uh, meteorological department gave warning to multiple states here in India, around 8 states in India. They are going to get more heat wave during this summer. So this heat wave, what is heat wave? Is a period of abnormally high temperatures, a common phenomenon in India during the month of May, June. And in some rare cases, even it extends till July. So IMD used to classify this heat wave according to the regions and their temperature range. As per Indian Meteorological Department, the number of heat wave days in India has increased from 413 to 600. So just imagine the sharp rise in the number of heat wave days has resulted due to increasing impact on the climate change. So declaring the heat wave, maximum temperature of a station reaches at least 40 degrees Celsius for plains and at least 30 degrees Celsius for the hilly regions. The impact of this heat wave not only in this livestock farming, even economic impact as well. The livelihood of poor and marginal farmer is negatively impacted due to the loss of working days. Impact on the agriculture sector as well, because the crop yield used to have suffered when the temperature exceeds the ideal range. The farmers located in Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh have reported losses in their wheat crop also in the past Rabi season. And impact on electricity usage. So naturally, heat waves impact power load. In North India, the average daily peak demand in April was 13% higher. Human mortality. Mortality due to heat wave occurs because of rising temperature as well. Lack of public awareness program is one of the reason as well for the mortality rate. And food insecurity is also there. The concurrence of this heat, the risk to health and food production as well. Impact on the workers. Workers in the sectors like agriculture and construction will be severely impacted because India's large population depends on these sectors for their livelihoods. So these are all the major impact because of the heat wave. In this particular article, they are talking about sustainable livestock farming poses threat in Kerala because of the thermal stress. So in this particular article, you got to know about what exactly this heat wave. Just go through this article and have an idea related to the same. This topic comes under your GS1 geography. Next topic it is about ISRO plans to launch Telios 2 on April 22nd. Indian Space Research Organization will launch Telios 2 satellite on April 22nd from the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota. What is this Telios? Telios 2 satellite. It is very important because it comes under your General Studies 3 Science and Technology. The subtopic is Space Technology. So, this Earth observation satellite. So, Earth observation satellite. This particular satellite already it was launched, the first one. The launch will be, see, the launch which carried out by the PSLV, which is scheduled to take place by this time. This launch will be PSLV 55th mission and a Telios in an Earth orbit. So in 2015, Telios 1, the first Singapore commercial Earth observation satellite, which was launched into low Earth orbit for remote sensing application. You need to know about this Earth EOS, what exactly the Earth observation satellite is. Earth observation satellites are the satellites with completely equipped with the remote sensing technology. Earth observation is gathering the information about the physical, chemical, and biological system. Many Earth observation satellites have been deployed on sun synchronous orbit. So just go through this and you will get to know about what exactly the article is stating about. The next topic where we can give more focus, yes, the future of India's civil society organizations. The future of India's civil society organization. See, the BJP government systematic suffocation of civil society over the last 9 years has ensured the most governments no longer listen to civil society organizations or movements, either in the pre-legislative stage or in the redressal of lacunae in the implementation of government schemes. So, this particular article it is talking about the civil societies. See, civil society is considered as a community of citizens linked by common interest, and collective activity is a social society and aggregate of non-governmental organization and institutions that manifest interest and will of citizens. Why this civil society is needed in the modern democratic the state with the technologies of surveillance and control possess such power that has never been seen in the history. So, associations have the capacity to challenge the violent power of the state through petitions, protest, dharnas, and ultimately judicial activism. The role played by the civil society in India is huge because many human rights groups have become the custodian of the fundamental rights. All these things are very important. In this article, what kind of realignment is needed for the civil society organizations? So, what kind of way forward can be done in terms of prevailing the political climate in our country? Just go through this topic, you will get to know about the importance of the CSOs. This topic comes under your General Studies Paper 1 Indian Society. Next topic where you can give attention is, see these two topics again, it is related to the same-sex marriage only, just go through it. Deadline for Aadhaar based payment under MGNREGA extended till June 30th. So sustained protest by MGNREGA workers. The government has extended the deadline till June 30th for workers to mandatorily use the Aadhaar based payment system for receiving the wages. It is DBT, direct beneficiary transfers. So the deadline was March 31st. There was a protest by the MGNREGA workers. Then the government extended the deadline till June 30th. What are the issue? Like, one of the greatest issue that we are facing regarding the Aadhaar based payment system, which they call it's a cumbersome, especially for workers who are not conversant with the banking system. For each day's paperwork, they end up with losing the day's wages. So a delegation here, the rural development of the officials thrives in the span of their protest. So heading their request, the ministry changed the timeline and so they can link the Aadhaar by June 30th. This topic comes under your GS2 social justice. Next topic that you can give attention towards. So this is about Karnataka polls 2023, about what exactly the progress is happening related to the elections. Apart from that, you can give attention towards here. India, China snap up Russian oil in April above price cap. It is regarding the majority of Russian oil in the month of April at prices above the Western price cap. So, what exactly the article regarding the price hike in terms of the oil? Just go through this. This topic comes under your GS3. So that's all. These are all the important topics of the day. Just to go through all the topics which I highlighted and have a notes on your own. Stay tuned. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.